Do the new mimer. It's now the number 25 mimer in the Mamorim Melukotim Chelik base. And this mimer begins with ודוד עבדי נשיא עליהם לעולם. This was said during the Shabbos Parshas Vayigash in Tovshin Lamed Beis. It was later on published in the booklet, the Kuntras, for Hey Tevis Tovshin and Beis, for this Yom HaBoir, for Hey Tevis, which is the day of the Dan Notzach, in a way that it was very clear in front of all the people in the federal courthouse, as far as the writings, the Svarim and the writings of our leader that are in Lubavitch Library, that they belong to Chabad, Dan Notzach. And this was on the Shabbos Kodesh and Kodesh Tevis Tovshin Hey Tovshin and Beis. Basically, you see the last mimer also. Again, this was done in honor. They published this mimer in honor of that, of Hey Tevis, the day of the Dan Notzach, and so we'll start that mimer. ודוד עבדי נשיא להם לעולם. בסייעתא דשמיא, שבס פרשת ויגש, תשלב למד בייס, ודוד עבדי נשיא עליהם לעולם. So this is a pasuk. My servant David will be a leader for them, לעולם, forever. הנה pasuk zehu behahaftoira the Parshas Vayigash. This verse is in the Haftoira of the portion of Vayigash. Basically, in the Parshas Vayigash, we'll read that Yosef was coming to, that Yehuda was coming to Yosef. Who was in charge? Yosef was in charge. He was the king, or the second to the king in Mitzrayim. And Yehuda came to Yosef, which means that Yosef is higher than Yehuda. In the Haftorah, however, we will read that David Avdi, that is from the Shevet Yehuda, eventually in the future, when the Eibishter will bring both kingdoms, the kingdoms of Malchus Yisrael and the Malchus Beis David, of Yehuda and Yosef, bring him together, but over there, who's going to be the king is going to be David. David is going to be Nasi Lehem David. So we need to understand the L'cheira Hashaychus de Haftoira LaHaparsha. It would seem, what is the connection? Well, we read this Haftoira to this Parsha. Is in the fact Shahatoichem Dishneim Uchibur Yehuda v'Yosef, that the theme of both of them is connecting Yehuda and Yosef. Das Cholas HaParsha that our Parsha begins with Vayigash Elav Yehuda. Yehuda comes close to Yosef, so that's connecting Yehuda and Yosef. And the Haftorah, it says, the pasuk says, Kach l'cha eitz echad, take one piece of wood. This is the Nevu of Yecheskel. So it says, Kach l'cha eitz echad, take one wood, and write on it, uksoivala, and write of it li Yehuda goymer, that is represent Yehuda on that wood. Ulekach eitz echad, and take another one wood. Ukseivalav the Yosef, and over there write for Yosef. V'korav oisom echad al echad l'chol eitz echad goymer, and bring them close one to one. These two woods. So make them into one wood. I will make them into one nation. Umelech echad yiyeh al kulam, there will be lekulam, will be one king. So this also talks about the union of these two kingdoms. There will be one nation and no longer be split into these two woods. There'll be all these woods will be one. And there'll be one king for them. So while they both discuss the union of the two of Yosef and Yehuda, but there's a big difference when you look in specifically that in our parsha it's talking about Yehuda being under Yosef, and over there Yosef being under Yehuda because David will be the king. I will be prati is, but in detail, Behakoshas Yehuda le Yosef beparsha. When Yehuda comes to Yosef, which is in our parsha Mudgash, it's emphasized She Yosef Hoya Naila Yosef Yehuda. Of there, the emphasis that Yosef was higher on a higher level than Yehuda. And you see this both. Hein Bahagosha Atzma. You will see this that the fact is in getting close. Who's getting close? And why is he getting close? Is because Yehuda needs something from Yosef. Sharizeh Yehuda Nigash li Yosef. Because the fact that Yehuda comes to Yosef, he needed him. Yehuda needed Yosef. What did he need him? He wanted him to free Binyamin. And also in the words. So he came for the reason he's coming closest. He's trying for Yosef to give him something to free Binyamin. And also in the words of Yehuda to Yosef, Shenemar, the pasuk says, "Bi Adoni Yidaber no Abdecha Goymer," in which he says, in his words, is asking, "My master." He's talking to Yehuda, "You, my master," and he's calling himself Abdecha. May your servant speak. So in his words, he is elevating Yosef as the master and him and Yehuda as the servant. Va'ad, to such an extent, was Yosef higher than Yehuda that he was a Yamelech al kol echad. He was the king on all the brothers, Koilul Yehuda, in the Yehuda. So in the parsha, it's Yosef greater than Yehuda. But in the Haftarah it's written, "V'Avdi David Melech Aleihem Goymer," that my servant David is going to be the king over them. The opposite than the Parsha, where Yosef was the king over there, David will be the king of them. But David Goymer, but David Abdi Nasi Lahem La'olam, and my servant David is a prince, will be the leader forever. So this David is the main. So the Rebbe's point is going to be now that we have to say that even though in the Parsha, in a revealed way, Yehuda needs to come on to Yosef, that Yosef is higher, but in a hidden way, even in the Parsha, we have this concept also that the truth is Yehuda is bigger than Yosef, because the Haftarah is in this parsha, and since that's what the Haftarah brings out, we have to say that it also is included in the parsha, but in a hidden way. The parsha is Vayigash. The fact that this verse is about David, about Yehuda being the king, Abdi David Melech Aleim La'olam. Since that's in the Haftarah parsha of Yigash Mashma, so it appears. That also this idea that the advantage that Yehuda has over Yosef, Yehuda is also exists in a hint way, also in Vayigash Elav Yehuda. When Yehuda is coming to Yosef, it's also hinted that the Mile of David is in the parsha, in the Vayigash of Yehuda. Ella, but on a revealed way, Vigash of Yehuda, when he came close to him, Hamayla the Yehuda Lagabe Yosef, he beremes ubehelam. Over there, it's in a hint way and it's obscure. And what is emphasized openly on the revealed way, Vayigash of Yehuda, when he comes, Yosef comes to Yehuda, he hamayla the Yosef Lagabe Yehuda. But there, that's the advantage of Yosef to Yehuda. That is what is hinted over there. Ubehaftoira hu begilui. And in the Haftoira, it's open. So Yehuda's Mailas, Lagabe Yosef, is also hinted over there. But in the Haftoira, it talks openly at that about the Remezdik greatness that Yehuda is greater than Yosef is Beremes in the Parsha, but it's open in the Haftoira. Base. It's going to bring down now from the Torah that the way the Torah explains this encounter of Yehuda and Yosef as it relates to the structure of the Beis Hamikdash and versus the Mishkan, in which in the Mishkan there were participation of Doimim, Semeach, and Chai, which was in the order, the ground and the walls were made out of wood and the covers was made out of Chai. That's the order of creation, of the order the way we have it. Chai is higher than Semeach and Doimim, but the way it was in the Beis Hamikdash was everything was doimim, because over there is the Maila of doimim, and we see the same concept over there as we're trying to bring out over here, that it's hinted also the Maila and doimim in as far as the Mishkan. Let's look inside. This idea Vayigash Elov Yehuda Yesh Behelam Gam Hamayla the Yehuda Lagabe Yosef. That even though openly it's Vayigash Elov Yehuda, so Yehuda is coming to Yosef, and we're saying that we explained that in a hidden, in a remez way, there's also the Mayla Yehuda Lagabe Yosef. Moving Gam Mahamavur B'Torah Dibra Maskel Vayigash Elov Yehuda is understood from that which was explained in the Torah in the Maimer by Yigash Elov Yehuda. Over there explains the Beis Hamikdash Hoyom Middoimim, that the Beis Hamikdash was made of inanimate. It was made out of stones. It was made out of, not made out of wood, not like the walls in the Mishkan. Unlike the Mishkan, in the Mishkan, only the floor of the Mishkan was made out of sand, which is doimim. Avol koisle hamishkan, but the walls of the Mishkan, that was growing. V'hamichsa sha'al hamishkan, and the cover, the higher part, that was hayiris, which are the panels. That was made out of living. The Seirim and the Tachash, all the different kinds of covers. So it explains in the Maimer, why was the Beis Hamikdash made of doimim hu kizesh doimim hu lematum etzemeach, because the fact that the inanimate is on a lower level than the growing, who al Seder HaHishtalshlus. That's in the order of Hishtalshlus. You have Chai, higher, Tzemeach, and then you have Doimim. So it's below Tzemeach, Doimim, when it's according to the Seder Hishtalshlus. And that's why only the floor in the Mishkan was made out of the Ofar, because but the higher levels, the cover is high and the walls are tzemeach. Avol b'shoshim, that's only the way it is obvious in the Hishtalshelus, but in the root, Shoirish Hadoimem Hulamailo Mishoirish Hatzameach V'Achai. The root of the inanimate is above, is higher than the root of the growing and the living. And that's why in the Beis Hamikdash, which is eternal, represents the truth is that it's all from Doimem, the highest level. Where do we find a similar idea that as it comes out, same idea, as it comes out, it's higher, but in root, it's really the lower one that comes out is really higher, that in a revealed way, one seems higher than the other, but then the root, the lower is higher than even though revealed it's lower, but what's revealed lower comes from higher shorish. This is similar to the Shemayim v'Oretz. So in a revealed way, the Shemayim is higher than Oretz. And the Bizhavus Bepoil, that in actual creation, Shemayim Kodmul Oretz. So the Shemayim, in the order that it comes out in creation, in actual creation, the heavens come first, Kodmul Oretz, they come before the earth. Bereshis bara likim es hashamayim ve'es haaretz. First the shamayim, then the haaretz. Ubeshorshom b'machshava, but in the root, in thought, to create them, in so to speak, Hashem's thought to create them, eretz kodmo. Then over there, the eretz comes first. The zeh gufa, the fact itself. Say b'yem broi elikim shamayim haaretz shamayim, that the eretz machshava comes before. That's how we reconcile the psukim of in the says Shemayim v'Oretz, that in actual creation Shemayim comes first, and b'yom bro elikim Oretz v'Shemayim, that in the machshava Hakaduma was to create Shemayim before Oretz. But we know that in machshava Oretz is before Shemayim, that Oretz is higher. The zeh gufa. The fact itself that the Oretz was created at the end, that points to the fact that in thought it comes before Shamayim. The fact that it comes out later means that in the thought it came out first. The Soif Maisa b'machshava techila, because what comes in the end was first in the thought. In other words, you have in your thought what you want it to look like, and in order to get to there, you got to create all the things preceding to that. So the thought at the end, what comes out at the end was in the thought. That was the purpose of the beginning. Ukumay came, and also the same thing, like we talk Shemayim v'Oretz in the spheres. In the spheres, it will be Hu Bezo Malchus, is when we talk about the spheres of Zeir Ampin, and we talk about Malchus. So also Zo in creation is above Malchus. So you have the Moichin, then you have the Midos, the Zeir Ampin, the Zo, and then you have the level of Malchus. So in order, Zo is before Malchus. Sheheim bedugmas Shemeach v'Doimem. Zo, they are similar to growth and inanimate. Zo is Shemeach, and Malchus is Doimem. So the Zo Malchus shebeseder hishtalshlus, in the order of hishtalshlus, Zo hu l'mayla me Malchus. Zo is higher than Malchus. Zo comes first than Malchus. Ava b'shorsham, but in the root, shoyrish ha-Malchus hu l'mayla me shoyrish ha-Zo. The root for Malchus is higher than the root of Zo. V'lochein, and therefore, la'osid lovoi tiya ha-Malchus l'mayla me Zo. And that's why in the future to come, Malchus will be higher than Zo, because when the root will be revealed, then Malchus will be higher than Zo. And that's why we say Eishes Chayil Ateres Baila. The wife of the Chayil, the Makabel, the Malchus, will become the crown of Baila of the Zoh, which means she'll be higher than Zoh. How is that going to happen? Because then will come out openly the root of Malchus, which is higher than the root of Zoh, and therefore Malchus will be the Ateres, the Eishes Chayil will be the Ateres for Zoh, for Baila. And for that reason, in the Mishkan, so the Mishkan hoyu haksolim v'hagag mitzameach v'chai. That's why in the Mishkan, the walls and the roof were made out of growing the krushim and the chai, the covers of life, of the livestock. But in the Beis Hamikdash, everything, the walls and the roof, were all from inanimate. For the Mishkan, which was only a temporary dwelling place of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that was according to the order of the way it's nishtalshul. You have first the Zoh and then Malchus. So you have first Chai, then you have Doimer, and then you have Chai, then Tzemech, then Doimer. V'lochein karka Mishkan hoyu midoimer. The floor of the Mishkan was from the inanimate, it was the lowest. Koisla ha-Mishkan v'Tzemech, one up, where the walls of the Mishkan was from the growing. The Gag ha-Mishkan, and the roof of the Mishkan was Mechai, was from living. Ki b'seder ha-Hishtalshelus, because in the order of Ishtalshelus, Soimeyach Hulamayla B'Doimer. The growing is higher than the Doimer, the Chai Hulamayla Gam Tzemech, and Chai is higher than Tzemech. Avol Beis Hamikdash, oh Yodiras Kvash LaKadosh Baruch Hu, but the Beis Hamikdash, which was a permanent dwelling place of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hoyo Me'ein Olam Haba. That was from the way it's going to be in the world to come. In that permanent dwelling place, the manifestation was the way it's going to be in the future to come. Malchus, then Malchus at the time of Olam Haba, Doimem L'mayla Mekol HaSviris, the Malchus, which is the Doimem, will be higher than all the Sviris. That's why even the roof was of Doimem, representing the ultimate, that the Doimem is going to be the dominant and is going to be the main, and that's why it's all built from Doimem. Similar to this idea, the way we have it in the Mishkan and the Beis Hamikdash, in the order of the Tzameach, Chai, and the Doimem, similarly is also as far as the level of Yosef and Yehuda. So Yosef, who Yisoid, Yosef is the Sfiris HaYisoid of the Sfiris itself, but that's part of Zoh, that's the Zeir Ampin. And Yehuda, who Malchus, and Yehuda is Malchus. So the Zeh She'achshav Yosef U'Lemailum Yehuda, the fact that now Yosef is higher than Yehuda, who ki b'seder ha'hishtalshelus Zoh U'Lemailum Malchus, because in order of hishtalshelus, Zoh is higher than Malchus. So Yosef, which is the level of Zoh, he is higher than Yehuda, which is the level of Malchus. V'zehu, and this is what the pasuk says: Vayigash Elav Yehuda Vayomer. Yehuda comes to Yosef and he says, "Be Adoni." He says, "Be in me, Adoni. My master should be mamshich to me the Pirush, be Adoni. What means please my master? Be means in me. Adoni, my master, should be Mashpia. Who should be Yehuda, which is the level of be Yum Shachashafa me Yosef Hatzadik Adoni, that it should be drawn, that flow from Yosef the Tzadik Adoni should be. Because Malchus receive its flow from Zoh. But in the future to come, so now Yosef is Mashpia to Yehuda, which is Malchus. But in the future to come, then the root of Malchus will be revealed, which is higher than the root of Zoh. And when we start looking into the roots, we see that the root of Malchus is greater, higher than the level of Zoh. Avdi David Melech Aleim, then it will be that my servant David will be the king over them, because at that point the Malchus is going to be recognized as it is in its root, in which it's higher than Yosef. Okay, so the Rebbe is still trying to make the point. What do we see? So the Rebbe says, but so l'chayra, we still have to say, still going back to make his point, to find how even Vayigash of Yehuda, you find the advantage of Yehuda there as well. So, but he says, but l'chayra, this is the explanation we just learned from Torah. So we need to explain this. The kivon she'inyan vayigash elov Yehuda, since that the idea that Yehuda comes close to Yosef, who she Yosef zot semech Yehuda, that is that Yosef, which is the level of Zot, which is level of Tzemech, is higher than Yehuda. That's what the post Malchus Doimim. Yehuda is Malchus Doimim, and the pasuk says vayigash elov Yehuda, that Yosef is higher. That's why Yehuda has to come to Yosef. Harebe Maimer shetchilose aschalose hu vayigash elov Yehuda. So a Maimer that starts with vayigash elov Yehuda, talking about the Maila of Yosef, that Zoe is mashpia to Malchus. Ein inyoni l'cheira levaira al tahatam. So it doesn't seem conceptually over here, seemingly, why would we explain the reason why the Beis Hamikdash Hoyu Medoimim, that it was from inanimate, while we're trying to talk about the greatness of Ishtalshalus, that Yosef is greater than Yehuda, and why would we bring in about the Beis Hamikdash, in which the Doimim was the dominant, and it was made everything of Doimim, and which represents that Yehuda's advantage. Why would the Maimer explain why the Beis Hamikdash was Doimim? The fact that the Maimer, which starts with Vayigash El Yehuda, Mevayer explains this, Beis Hamikdash Hoyo Medoimim. Avdi explains that the fact that the Beis Hamikdash was from the inanimate, who's Lefisha Beis Hamikdash Oyem Mein Olam Habo, because the Beis Hamikdash was similar, somewhat of the world to come. Shows the Malchus Doimem Lemailo Mikol Asfiris. He gives you the explanation that because the Beis Hamikdash was like Olam Habo, and then the Malchus, the Doimem, is going to be higher than all the Sfiris. So why does he explain the muchach? It's evident hagam shebegilui inyan vayigash elov Yehuda, even though in a revealed way, the idea that Yehuda comes to Yosef, who shezohu lemayla memalchus, that Zoh is higher than Malchus. Yesh boy vayigash elov Yehuda, but still in vayigash elov Yehuda consists b'pnimius behelim, in an inner way, in a obscure way. We also have their Hamalchus, Hamayla, the Malchus, the Gabi Zoh, also the advantage of Malchus relative to Zoh, al derech hagilu de Losi Love, similar to the revelation of Losi Love. Already, it's already even when we're talking about the Maila of Yosef over Yehuda, there is a hidden in it, the Maila of Yehuda over Yosef in an inner way. That's why the Maimer, which explains Vigash of Yehuda, is talking about La'osid in the Maila of Yehuda over Yosef. Gimel. So the Rebbe is explaining why is that. The Rebbe explains now that actually we tap into a higher level than both Yosef and Yehuda, and that's hinted in the words that he says, Ki chamoicha kifare, to get from the higher level. Gimel. Yuv and Zebahagdim will understand this by introducing the Ksharot, so Yehuda le'oider es Yosef. Sheyamshich lo hashefa, when Yehuda wanted to arouse, to awaken Yosef, to give him, to be mamshich to him, to draw down to him the shefa, the flow from Zoh to Malchus, Omar Loi, he says to him, Ki chamoicha kifare, you're like Pare. Basically, you and Pare come to the level of Pare. The Rebbe will explain that Pare in the inner meaning is a very high level. It's like the level, of Keser, level of higher than Ishtalshus. The explanation of this is Yosef shehahamshocha mizoh Yosef, since the hamshocha, when we bring down from Zod, which is Yosef, the Malchus to Yehuda, Yerida, that's a descent. So, Lochein bier Yehuda li Yosef. That's why Yehuda is explaining to Yosef. He says, "Give me, even though you're slower." So, Yehuda is explaining to Yosef, "Sha'adarabel." On the contrary, don't worry. It's not really a descent. Al yidei zeh tiyeh aliyah bezoh. This, through your hamshocha to Malchus, there will be an elevation in Zoh, in Zeirapin. Sheyiyeh kamoicha kipare, that you will be like Pare. Higher level. What is the level of Pare? V'inyan hu. And the idea is the Pare hu b'chinas hakeser shelamaylo mihi shtalshelus. Pare is the level of keser which is higher than ishtalshelus. Zoh mashakosuf. And this explains what the pasuk says when Yosef made the deal with the people for the grain from the field. He gave them to work. So he says, "Unisatem chamishis lepare," give a fifth to Pare. The fifth represents keser. The 4 parts will belong to you of what grows, and the fifth represents keser, because the arba hayodis. What are the 4 parts? They represent him chokhmah bina, the 2 moichin. That's 2. V'zov and nukva. And zov and nukva, another 2 is 4. V'achamish is the 5th. Hu hakeser shalomai lamai ishtalshus. The 5th, that's keser, which is higher than ishtalshus. And we can translate this. That the fact that the 4 will be yours comes it comes as a continuation that the 5th will be to Pare. Who? He says, Chamishis lepare, then you get the 4. So the Hemshech, how do we get the 4 yodos is by giving the Chamishis to Pare. Udal yidei ha-Chamishis lepare, through the 5th, which is to Pare, Hamshoch has ha-Keser shalamaylo mihi ishtalshlus, to bring down the Keser of which is higher than ishtalshlus. Kam arba ha-yodes So also the four parts, which is going to belong to you, which is in the level of Ishtalshalus, there too, it will be in a higher way. It'll be in a higher way. When you have the fifth, the Keser, then the Hamshocha, then the Ishtalshalus, you will have these four, the Chabad, the Zohar Malchus, Chocham Bina, Zohar Malchus on a higher level. Okay, this is Bezoyer, like it says in the Zohar, the Paroi, who the Isperiu, the Isgali Menei Kol Noirim, that it revealed, it opened up and revealed all rivers, all the flows. That is the level of open, the level of Keser, which is Yesh Loimar. We can explain what is Shapirush Isperiu Kol Noirim. What does it mean? All rivers opened up. Shal Yidei Hamshochas HaKeser Pare. When you bring down Keser, which is Pare, the Chamish Pare, Gama Giluyim, also the revelation of the Nahodim, the Ishtalshalus, and boy from the Isperiu. Also, when we talk about Nahodim, which is the Ishtalshalus, they become Isperiu. L'maylo mahagbola, beyond any limitation. V'hagam sho'inyonim shebi Ishtalshalus. What does it mean? A nuham shocha? It's always like that. Always, everything Ishtalshalus comes stuff before Ishtalshalus. Agam sho'inyonim shebi Ishtalshalus. Arba hayodis heinim shochim tomid mahakeser shalamaylam Ishtalshalus. Even though the matters of Ishtalshalus, that four yodis, come constantly from the keser, which is above Ishtalshalus. When they are nimshach from keser on a usual way, it's in such a way that the keser is separate from them. And that's why they're limited. So yes, they always come from keser, even normally, but keser is distinct and separate from them, and that's why they're not isperiu kol nahirin. It's not like the fall of flows become bli agbola. But the inyan, when we say that the chamish is the pare v'arba yodis yelachemu, the idea, the fifth pare in the four parts to you is shegam k'moy shehem nimshochem begilu b'ishtalshalus, that even as they are extend openly in the ishtalshalus, nirgash bahem, you feel in them sham shochosom himahakeser shalamayla meishtalshalus, that they extend from keser, which is above ishtalshalus. That closeness to the level of keser, they feel then they become in an unlimited way. Then the nahorin, all the necholim, all the flows come in a believable way, because you sense the level of keser within them when the chamishis lepare v'arba hayodesh yilacha v'hamshocha ba'ofen zeh, and the hamshocha in such a way that it comes down from Pare into the Arba Yodis in the Eifel oblique bull, he al yidei Sfiras HaYisoid, that comes through the Sfira of Yisoid in the Zeir Amp, in the Sfira of Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef brings about that level. Kinyon shel Yisoid hu shehu mashpia lamalchus, because what is the idea of Yisoid is that that is what gives the flow to Malchus. And in order for this flow to go down below, is by bringing it down from the level of Keser, so that the Yisoid, which needs to be Mamshich, which this concept is to give to Malchus, it comes through the Hamshach of Keser. So Bezehu Sh'omar Pare, that's what the Pasuk says. Pare says, Pare is Keser. He says, L'Yosef, he says, Yisoid. He said, Ato tia al beisi, you will be in charge over my home. And by your mouth, all my nation will be fed. Without you, nobody raises their hand or their foot, which means the hamshocha mehakeser. Then, when we have the hamshocha from keser, we're talking about the special hamshocha. Well, we talk about the additional light that comes from keser, beyond the usual hamshocha from keser. B'chol hadargis the ishtalshlus, in all levels of the ishtalshlus, which is kol ami, represented by Yisha kol ami, all my people, meaning all of the ishtalshlus. He al yidei sfiras hayisoid is al picha, that comes through the level of Yosef, who is the sfiras hayisoid, al picha de Yosef, by the mouth of Yosef. The Alpha became, and still, Raka kisei egdal mimecha. But still, the kisei is higher, mimecha is higher than the level of Yisoid. Zesha Yisoid mamshich mehakeser, that Yisoid brings down from keser, that is the level of keser as it is connected to the ishtalshlus. That's why when the revelation of this hamshocha that's in a way that it becomes limitless, because it's the level of keser which is shayches to ishtalshlus. Aval hakisei, but the kisei itself, we're talking about the keser itself, hareivim musvi isnasus, the exaltness and the raising, hainu hakeser atzmei shemereimim umuvdal mehi ishtalshlus, keser itself, which is exalted and separate ishtalshlus, einei nimshach al yidei hayisoid, that does not come through Yisoid. Hakisei egdal mimecha, still that level of keser, which is beyond a connection to ishtalshlus, does not come down through the sfiras hayisoid. V'zui hamayla de malchus lagabe Yisoid, and this is the advantage of malchus relative to Yisoid. The shoyresh hamalchus uba keser atzmei, that the shoyresh of malchus is in keser itself. Elo shebemalchus hashoyresh shelo hu behelam. The only thing is, even though that it's rooted in the level of the essence of keser, but it is hidden, it's obscure within malchus. What reveals in malchus the level of keser? Through Zoh. And when Zoh reveals in malchus her source, the essence of keser, gam Zoh misala l'dargazu, also Zoh is elevated to this level. Zoh she'omar Yehuda liYosef bi adoni ki chamech kipare. And that's why Yehuda says to Yosef, please, my master, you are like Pare, which means, be adoni, be mamshad al yidei sheyumshach b'malchus, be Yehuda, be adoni, mamshad Yehuda, hashefa mi yisoid, the flow from adoni, be mamshad to malchus, Yosef, shal yidei zeh yizgala b'malchus hashodesh shelo. That way, in malchus will be revealed the root etzem hakeser, the essence of the keser. Then you will get the level of pare, will be kamoicha, will be just like pare. Sheyumshach boy etzem hakeser, the essence of the keser will be nimshach into it.